Keys after dark, open up your heart. Real talk, real love, that's where healing starts. For the kings, for the queens, yeah, we rising up. No more feeling stuck.
Y'all already know what time it is. You have tapped into Keys After Dark with a Kalan. I'm your homegirl, Ash. Let's unlock it. Okay, y'all. So the last episode, we sat in the feeling, that realization that you've been pouring into everything and everyone but yourself. And, if that kind of hit you, then this episode right here is where we're going to go deeper. Because awareness is one thing, but what you do after that, that's what changes everything. See, I didn't realize how drained I was until I stopped showing up and nobody noticed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that realization, it'll humble you real quick because it kind of forces you to see things for what they really are, not what like you kind of hope they were. And for me, it wasn't like even about people being bad or people being wrong. It was about me finally kind of realizing I had no boundaries. So let's start right there because a lot of us, we it's not like we're poured out because of people. We tend to feel poured out because we just don't know how to say no, or we don't know how to like just pause, or we just don't really know how to choose ourselves without feeling, guilty. Why do we feel bad for needing a break? Why do we feel like we have to always explain ourselves every time we need to take a step back? I just feel like that is some sort of conditioning. Somewhere along the way, we just learned that being available or being dependable or just being everything for everyone made us feel valuable. You keep showing up even when it's costing you. And I feel like that's the part that we really need to unlearn because choosing yourself is not just a mindset, it's practice. Like, it's a decision. It may be like small ones at first, but I feel like those matter. Choosing yourself, it kind of looks like maybe, not answering that call right away and not feeling guilty about that. Or maybe saying, I can't do that right now. And not feeling the need to give a whole explanation behind that. I feel like choosing yourself may look like just checking in with yourself before even committing to anything. Like saying, oh, do I actually have the energy for this? And if that answer is no, you don't have that energy, then respecting that answer and not trying to like do too much. Because here's the truth, like, you keep abandoning yourself every time you trying to be there for everybody else. Like, that's exactly what's happening. And then you sitting there wondering why, like, dang, why do I feel so disconnected? Why do I feel so drained? Like, why do I feel like I don't even recognize myself anymore? That's what happens because when you stop choosing yourself, that's exactly what happens. And I kind of had to sit with that. Like, I mean, really sit with it because it wasn't just about being tired. It was about realizing I wasn't even prioritizing myself in my own life. Everything and everyone else was coming first. And y'all, for real, that's not sustainable. Like, it's really not. So I had to start small. It was no big announcement, no drastic changes, just like small intentional shifts that I had to make. I started paying more attention to what was draining me. Those certain conversations, those certain environments, certain expectations. And instead of forcing myself to keep showing up, I had to pull back some. I had to really give myself permission to just rest, to, not respond immediately or not to be available all the time. And I'm not gonna lie, it did feel uncomfortable at first because when you're so used to being that for people and, just being that person, choosing yourself can maybe sometimes feel like you're doing something wrong. Like, dang, am I tripping or am I just finally waking up? And the answer to that is, yeah, you're finally waking up. You're realizing that your energy is not unlimited. I don't know why we feel like our time is unlimited, our energy is unlimited, and you just start to realize that your presence is not something that everybody really deserves to have access to. And I feel like once you understand that, that's when you start moving different. And it's not out of spite, like it's not out of anger or none of that. And you got to get that out of your head because in all reality, it's out of alignment. It's like you need to really start asking, what do I need right now? That's the question you should be asking. And that's what's going to change everything. So let me ask you again, because I think I asked you this earlier. What would happen if you stopped pouring into people who never refill you? And if I didn't ask you that, I'm asking you now. I want you to take a second, sit with that, and yeah, let it land because we got to start doing better. We really do. This is Keys After Dark with Akalan. Y'all, let's move like it matters.
Keys After Dark. It's your girl Ash. Tap in. Tap in.
Late night scrolling, feeling stuck in your head. Dreams on pause, but you're still in your bed. Pressure on your chest, got you losing your breath. But you're stronger than the fear, yeah, you bigger than stress. Talking real life, no cap, no disguise. Every lost turn lesson, yeah, we leveling up life.